Hello, this is Dr. Grafton, and this video is going to be on assignment 3.3, chapter 7, sampling and sampling distributions. When we look at data, we generally look at a population, and we're looking at one or more characteristics in that population. In some cases, the population might be too large or spread out to be able to contact every individual members of that population. So what we do as researchers then is we look at a sample of that population. And that sample then we're using to obtain information that might be members of that. And generally the way we do that sampling is called a simple random sample. Chapter 7 discusses several different types of sampling, but this exercise that we're doing for this assignment is focusing on a simple random sample. And we're going to use an Excel formula to help find that simple random sample. So the spreadsheet that you'll download is here. It's a fictional data that has 204 employees of a company. For this problem, this data set is considered the whole population, all 204 employees. Now, in reality, we could do statistics with that, but we're just looking to show how we can do the random samples. In this spreadsheet, then we're going to generate 10 simple random samples of size 20. So each of the random samples is going to have 20 entries from that population. We're going to calculate the population mean, median, and standard deviation for annual salary. Then we're going to go back and do that for each of the 10 samples, and I'll show you an example of that as we go through the problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the spreadsheet that we downloaded. So there are a couple of things that we're going to want out of this spreadsheet. We're going to want the employee number, and we're going to want the annual salary. So I'm going to move this box here that says fictional data. We'll just move it over to the side because we're going to want to use column J and column K. So the first one I want is the employee number. So we just copy that, the shift control down arrow, and then control C. And then that takes us over. I'm going to put it in column J with the control V. So now we have all the employee numbers. Now we're going to get all those same employee numbers annual salary. So again, control shift down arrow, control C, and we go up to column K. Now we've matched each employee number with their annual salary. Okay. I'll go ahead and expand this a little so we can see the thing. So in column L here, then I'm going to type the word random. This is the column we're going to do the random number generator in it. Okay. So that function is equal RAND, and then just close and open paren. Okay. So that generates a random number between 0 and 1. It'll be a decimal. I'm going to copy this formula down all 204. So you can see the little plus sign there. So all the way to 204. Now it generates a random number for that. Okay, so now we've got a random number. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up here to the right where it says sort and filter. I'm just going to sort it from the smallest to the largest. Okay, and if you'll notice now our employee number changed, our annual salary changed, and our random changed. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go down this, and every 20 I'm going to copy and paste and put it on the next sheet. So here I'm going to put the call it random sample. Go back to this. So our first employee number, annual salary. We don't need to copy the random number. Go down to row 21. Control C. Let's put sample 1 here. And then control V. Oops. Do that again. When I typed it, it lost lock on it. Okay, now let's try this again. All right, there it is. So you'll just continue that out until you have 10 samples, okay? I had done this earlier, so I didn't have to repeat this 10 times, but here's an example then of doing it 10 times. It's labeled a little differently. So you see employee one, annual salary one, employee two, annual sample two. Those are the samples. They're not the actual number of the employee, but you'll see uh, each one will be different. Because we're using random number generators and we're taking that from a selection, there's not going to be a set answer. It's going to be based on what your sample is. So even in this, the annual salary and employee numbers is different than the sample that I was doing on the other spreadsheet. So you can see here. Other thing you can do too is you can, uh, if you're wanting to randomize this more, sort it a couple more times, and it'll give that a different randomness to it. But for the purpose of us, that just sorting it from lowest to highest will give us enough for to be able to complete the exercise. Okay. So once you've done this, you've got 10 samples here, and each is denoted by the parentheses numbers. Then you'll want to do a summary. So this is the summary statistics. So you've got annual salary, the mean, median, and standard deviation for each one of those 10 times, and you have it for the population. All right. So this summary then measures for the 10 random samples, those are columns C through L, and those for the entire population, which is in column M, which is where my cursor is at right now. So clearly these summary measures for the sample, they're going to be varied around the population. Of course, your data is going to be different. Once you graph it, then you can make some interpretation. The blue line is your means, the red line is your median, and the standard deviation is your green line, recognizing that this out here is the one for the population. So when you go to write your answers to the questions, then they're going to be different because your number is going to be different. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you with your assignment.